Welcome to Around the Table with Paige Ewing. This week, we focus on why Gen Zers might be living a very frugal lifestyle in order to retire early being in their mid-30s. This episode features 3 guests, all of them being students. Kyle Penny is a student at Seton Hall University, and Jess and Beth Ann are students here at Rider.
So there was recently an article that was posted, and it essentially talked about how millennials and our generation, which is Generation Z, is essentially working their butts off all the way until they're 30, living super frugally, like rice, beans, cheapest apartment you can get, having as many roommates as possible, all so that they can save as much of their income as possible. Like, some people have been saving like 70% of their entire income that they get and putting it into savings so that they can retire by their 30s. And so that they, are essentially becoming these 30-year-old millionaires who can because they just save almost their entire income, and then they just live off of that income for, the rest of their life. So this article poses this question of, is this now a trend with our generation of where we save, live super frugally on whatever we make? Like, is that something that you guys encounter, like, in your life where, like, you're really money conscious and, like, you save so much even though you don't have to save as much as you do?
I know for me, like, I'll put most of my paycheck into my savings, but that's because I can right now. I have, like, money in my checking to spend on. So, like, I also, like, pick and choose what I want to spend it on. So, like, that helps me to, like, differentiate between, like, is it a necessary or is it, if it's something I want, I'll wait on it. But if it's something I need, I'll buy it, like, right then and there.
What do you think about this whole theory of, retiring at your mid-30s?
So, I know for me personally, I would like to live frugally in order to build up wealth. However, I know I don't want to be retired that early because I think I'm going to get bored. I would just like to be successful early on, be able to manage my finances, and from that pursue a career that I enjoy so that I'm never really working a day in my life. So my view on it is, I think that 30s is early to retire, but it's the perfect time to get into that dream job. Even if it's a job that's not paying much, if you can live frugally for those first 10, 15-ish years so that you can go do what you love, I'd say go for it.
But do you think that this is something, like, in general our generation wants? I mean, do you guys know people who are like, yeah, I want to work really hard and then not have to work another day of my life? Like, I want to be done.
I wouldn't say work another day of my life. I think that a lot of people really in their youth want to bang out the hardest part of their lives and then maybe, like, get a job that isn't as demanding kind of thing, or, like, maybe work part-time just so that they can still have money, because I don't think that being able to retire now, like, at 30, like, in this day and age, is something that we can even do anymore. I think they'll try to make it a trend. I just don't know if it'll happen.
I think it might be, like, hard to make happen, or other generations might question it, and then they might pose questions that will actually have to make us really think, like, is this really suitable for us or not? I just think it depends on, like, how everything is going in the world and what's going on. I think it kind of depends on that for me.
I think that there's going to be a lot of individuals like myself who their retirement, quote unquote, is going to be a career that they themselves enjoy. For instance, myself, I know once I've built up a stable financial foundation, I'd like to go into theater and the arts. That's not a career that we're coming right out of college I'm confident in, but if I'm able to create that foundation for myself, that's going to be my equivalent of a retirement. And I'm perfectly happy to work that way well into my later years because it's doing something that I love.
Yeah, I mean, just personally speaking, like, I know my grandparents, they've been retired for a long time, and now they're trying to do, like, little jobs. Like, my grandpa is a crossing guard because he was getting stir crazy. They traveled and did all this stuff, but then, they still have 20 years to their life, and they're like, okay, well, what now? So now they're going back to work, where this is this whole idea that's like flipping it, where like people just don't want to work at all, which I think is so interesting.
Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you next week on Around the Table with Paige Ewing.